So today's video is brought by one of you all. I love when I get DMs requesting a specific topic, and I'm always happy to oblige. One of you asked me to talk on the idea of monogamy. Is it possible for two people to stay partnered together for an entirety of a relationship without having sex with anyone else? Is that something we're meant to do? Is it something we're even capable of doing? Well, today we will discuss. So hey, if we haven't met before, my name is Kalen. I'm an ecstatic spirituality coach. I work with men around the world about integrating meditation and spirituality with sex and sexuality, and what does it mean to be a man in today's world, and how do we bring all that together to live an authentic life. I've written a couple books, and I host this YouTube channel where we dive into these things. Now, I don't know about you, but I grew up in the Midwest in a middle-class family, Christian, straight, white. Everybody around me in my community was Christian, middle class, straight, white. And I was told the story that sometime post high school, maybe in college, maybe post college, you meet a nice girl, you settle down, you have 2.5 children, a house, white picket fence perhaps, and that the two of you will be joined together forever. And let's just be clear. This narrative is not a universal narrative. It is not a story that is told in every country, in every time, in every social strata. In fact, if you look at people in upper class settings, or you look at people in Europe, France, for example, it is expected that you will have a mistress. And it's expected you will have a side piece of some kind. It is anticipated that at some point your spouse will bore you. Specifically because, especially in these circles, a lot of times marriage was not about love. It was not about choosing an ideal partner. It was a social contract. It was making a business decision, your household, your family being a business, and merging with another well-appointed, well-funded business is a good idea. So historically speaking, marriage was never about romance, was never about love. It was about progeny. It was about making sure that there was a bloodline that could inherit the wealth that you and your spouse brought together. And like I said, certain social classes and certain cultures still very much hold to this idea that marriage is a social good. It is a contract between two people, maybe less about wealth now, more about mutual interests, but there is this expectation that you will have other foyers, we shall say, other dabblings with other people. But a lot of people here in America come from a more puritanical setting. We come from a more Christian, not so sort of background. I mean, let's be real. The people who came to America were exiled from Europe for being religious extremists. They were the people that no one else wanted to hang around. They were the upstarts, the people doing extreme things that nobody else liked. So we inherited a culture that was very much bent towards an extremist point of view of purity, hard work, stoicism in some ways. A lot of early American culture, it wasn't about private good. Life wasn't about that. It wasn't about being happy. It was about working hard and doing what you needed to do for society, and that meant getting married and having children. It has actually only been fairly recently that marriage was considered a love sort of scenario, something where you met somebody and fell in love with them and wanted to partner with them. Hell, it wasn't even very long before that where your wife was no longer considered your property. Like old marriage contracts, it wasn't about, two equals coming together. It was about property. I own you. And I own rights to your body, because if you don't have sex with anybody else, then that progeny, that child or children, will be guaranteed to be mine. So let's be real. In these scenarios, monogamy was really only ever about the women. The men could do more or less what they wanted. The women were the ones who had to stay faithful. Now, did they always? No, of course not. That is not to say that there aren't couples who have been fully monogamous, happily so, over the course of the relationship. I myself have met a few. They have almost exclusively been straight. I have, to my knowledge, not really met a gay couple, a same-sex couple, who have been together for an extended period of time and have only ever had sex with each other, but I'm going to throw out there that I'm sure there are some. But one of the beautiful things about being in a gay relationship or a gay marriage is that there are no specific rules to follow. There is no right or wrong way to be married. There is no right or wrong way to be in a partnership, because you're already breaking the social contracts. You're already saying, no, I am not going to follow those rules. I am not going to birth 2.5 children because it's biologically impossible between us, though we might keep trying. I'm not going to marry the person of the opposite gender. I'm going to create my own life. I'm going to forge my own path. And so our relationships reflect that. That's one of the beauties about being gay. My husband and I frequently discuss how our marriage is consciously constructed and different from any other marriage because it's a marriage that we are consciously choosing and we are evolving with as we grow as people and making choices that benefit us and where we are in our development and not what society says is right. And as virile men, as people who enjoy touch and enjoy sensuality and enjoy sex, we are willing to make the choice to explore that, perhaps, with others. So here's where I think it gets really interesting, though. Is monogamy, the idea of just wanting to partner with one person, is worth something most when you actively know that's what you want. When you say, I know what the other is. I've gone and tasted, I've sampled, I've explored sex with other people, I've explored open relationships, and I've chosen that I want to be with you right now, to the exclusion of everyone else. Because somebody who's lived long enough starts to realize the value of things is often set by that which we renounce, that which we give up, that which we ignore in order to have this. Because you can't have everything in life. There's not enough time, there's not enough hours, there's not enough minutes in the day. You have to pick and choose. And you prove what has value by what you choose as well as what you exclude. Me choosing to go have dinner with a good friend might mean I have to not go to this fabulous party that I was invited to. My choosing to skip the party to go down with my friend gives our relationship greater worth, greater value. So too is it that if I know what sex with other people is like, and I'm open to it, I've explored, I've tried things, I've worked past my own inhibitions, and I choose to forsake that, I choose to give that up in order to be with somebody, then that's worth a great deal. It's worth a lot more than somebody who is obligatorily entered into a monogamous relationship. They said, this is what I have to do because of social pressure, because of fear, because they've never explored it and don't know what it's like, because of their own tension inside, that they've not worked through their own feelings, they're not really diving into that nitty-gritty stuff and facing what they really want, what they really fear, then that choice for monogamy doesn't mean very much. And it's going to be strained because they're going to be wondering, what if? What if I hired the dominatrix? What if I got drunk and got gangbanged by 7 guys? What if I went and danced naked on a beach till sunrise? For me and my husband, we pretty much only have sex with each other. Not because we've said that's what we have to do. It's not because we've said that is what's right. It's because we've explored, we've tried things, and we've discovered, sex with other people is never as good as sex with you. And when I'm with somebody else, most of the time, I'm just wishing it were you instead. We've come to realize that the momentary pleasure we might get from a rendezvous with somebody else is outweighed by the soul searching, the reconnection, the difficult conversations we have to do when we come back together. Because inevitably when sex is involved, feelings are going to come up, people are going to feel ignored or pressured, or it gets messy. And for us to be in a point where we say, you know what, I'd rather just mainly have sex with you than deal with all that emotional bullshit and give up the opportunity to have 15 minutes of hot passion, whatever, with this guy who I probably won't even remember their name in a few days. I mean, let's be honest. I haven't had sex with all that many people, but I can't even remember all of them anymore. And that says something, right? Like, if I can't remember not only your name, but I can't even remember your face. I can't even remember we had sex, but I know there were, I know my number is higher than the active roll call of people I can bring to mind, which is frightening. Especially because all my sex was sober. It wasn't like I was drunk or anything. It means that they didn't mean that much to me. It means that it was okay, but it wasn't life-changing. And here's the rub. Sex with my husband is almost always life-changing. It's usually the best sex I've ever had. It's always different. It's always deeply nourishing. I feel healed. I feel improved through the experience. And I don't get that with other people. So yeah, me and my husband choose to mostly be monogamous, or as Dan Savage might say, monogamish. But it's because we've done the work. And I've known people in similar scenarios. I knew somebody in LA who ran a sex positivity club, and she blushingly admitted, she's like, for the first time in my life, as a 40-something, 50-something-year-old woman, first time in my life I've ever wanted to be monogamous, but I'm just so deeply infatuated with my partner. I want that, and I've been somebody who's been, sex positive and polyamorous my entire life. It's possible, at least in phases. It's possible for a time to just say, all I want is you. And that time might be 2 weeks, it might be 2 months, it might be 2 years, it might be 2 decades, it might be your whole lifetime. I don't know, it might be possible. But is monogamy a myth? No, I don't think so. I think when you do the soulful work, when you actually dive into the human experience and explore what is it you really want and let go of the social taboos, let go of your religious programming, let go of all the things people told you should and would and need to do, you might find you just want to be with one person. But it has a hell of a lot better value to go through the process of discernment to really realize that, rather than just do it because somebody said you ought to. And I really think that's one of the big meanings of life. Do something because you've explored all the options, and that's what you choose. It's what you really want. Don't just do something because it was been prescribed. Do something because it makes you feel alive, because it makes you feel happy, and you know it's what you really want. And that, my friends, is what we call an examined life. So thank you for whoever brought forth this question. It was a great topic to explore. I'm Kaylin. This is Ecstatic Self. Namaste.